Hello and welcome to Movie Mythbusters with HannahJames. Today we're going to be looking at Ice Age 2: The Meltdown. In Ice Age 2, Scrat, the saber-toothed squirrel, is able to survive at sub-zero temperatures with seemingly no effect on his health. In order to find out if this was possible, I asked myself 3 questions. Firstly, is there a squirrel that lives in an environment in which temperatures drop below 0 degrees Celsius? To my surprise, the answer was yes. Let me introduce you to the Arctic ground squirrel. The Arctic ground squirrel can be found in Alaska, Canada, and Siberia, where temperatures are known to drop well below negative 30 degrees Celsius. The second question I asked myself was, if there is a squirrel that can survive at below freezing temperatures, what survival technique does it use? The Arctic ground squirrel is able to supercool its core temperature from 30 to negative 3 degrees Celsius, enabling the squirrel to go into a state of suspended animation whenever the surrounding temperature drops below negative 26 degrees. The Arctic ground squirrel is the only mammal in the world that is known to have this ability. My third and final question was, considering the evidence that has been gathered, is it possible that Scrat could survive in the movie? Now, this is a very difficult question to answer as there are a lot of variables that would need to be considered. For example, what time of year was it? What was the temperature at the time? And where was the movie located? As I had no way of answering these questions, I decided to compare Scrat to the Arctic ground squirrel. This would help to find out how scientifically accurate the movie was. Some of the major differences I noted are shown in the table below. Firstly, unlike the Arctic ground squirrel, Scrat didn't appear to have a specific survival technique. Secondly, Scrat wasn't surrounded by vegetation in the movie, whereas the Arctic ground squirrel lives in the tundra biome, which has a lot of vegetation. Thirdly, Scrat only appeared to be interested in eating acorns, whereas the Arctic ground squirrel feeds on almost anything. And finally, Scrat was the lone in the movie, whereas the Arctic ground squirrel lives in a colony with up to 40 other squirrels. In conclusion, the evidence tells us that Scrat has barely any, if not no, behavioural similarities to the Arctic ground squirrel. As the Arctic ground squirrel requires those behaviours to survive, it's unlikely that Scrat would be able to survive in real life. So, although the movie is loosely tied to a real-life scenario, I have to say that Ice Age 2: The Meltdown is busted. Thanks for listening, guys.